Welcome to the Providence College Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Providence College Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Chittum, and I'm joined as always by PC producer and videographer Chris Judge, Class of 05. Here at the Providence College Podcast, it's our job to bring you interesting stories from inside the Friar family. And today it is the week of Thanksgiving 2017. And with that in mind, we're going to share a little bit about gratitude. So we have a recording from Father James Quigley, Associate Chaplain to the National Alumni Association, talking about gratitude and why it's so important for all of us. And this is part of a book that he put out called Living Well, Homilies and Meditations on the Virtues. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Providence College Podcast and that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
The virtue of gratitude. There is a story told about a little boy who got up in the morning and walked out into the living room to look at the pet turtle in a bowl in his living room. As he was looking at the turtle flipped over and died. Well, you can imagine the reaction of that little boy. He started crying and screaming. His mother and father came running into the room. His dad picked him up and tried to console him. He began saying, well, the first thing that we will do is get a matchbox. We'll put the turtle in. We'll bury it in the backyard. And then, son, what I'd like to do is take you to breakfast so that you can have pancakes and all the things that you like. After that, why don't we go to the zoo and see all the animals that you like to watch? After that, I think it would be a good idea if we had lunch. You can have mac and cheese, and then we'll go to the circus. And then after that, we will buy that bike that you have been wanting for a long time. The little boy's reaction to all of this, of course, was he began by crying and screaming, and gradually that softened to a whimper until finally, when he heard about the bike, he was laughing and smiling. And at that point, the turtle in the bowl flipped over and started to walk. The father and the little boy were amazed. And then the boy looked at his dad and said, Dad, let's kill it. That is original sin. Original sin is not an observable fact, unless, of course, you look in the mirror, or drive on I-95, or are a boss and have responsibility for other people, or whatever. The book of Genesis recounts the story of Adam and Eve. They had everything. They had paradise. They walked with God in the cool of the evening. And yet, tragically, they were not satisfied. They wanted something more. And because they were not satisfied, they were ungrateful. The itch to want more, the tendency to be unsatisfied with what we have, is every person's inheritance. We are all, to one degree or another, infected by original ingratitude. The virtue of gratitude, or thankfulness, is a disposition of heart. It's a character trait. It's something that can become second nature, that moves us to see everything that we have as a gift. We did not do anything really to deserve all we have. Gratitude allows us to recognize the things that we have as gifts, and it urges us to show and express our appreciation. Have you ever sat down to make a list of all the gifts, all the blessings that you have? Certainly each one of us has probably played some role in the things that we have. We have studied. We have worked hard. We have planned. And yet, all of those gifts ultimately rest on other gifts that we have received from other people, from God. So the first element in the virtue of gratitude is to recognize what we have as being a gift. The second step in the virtue of gratitude is to recognize the donor or the one who has blessed us. The Bible is full of stories about God's gifts to others. There's an interesting one in Matthew's Gospel. A farmer has gone out to hire day laborers. He hires some early in the morning, others mid-morning, others at noon, others mid-afternoon, and even others just before quitting time. When it comes time to pay, each one gets the same pay. As you would imagine, of course, some are unhappy. Those who went to work early expected to receive more. The farmer asks them, "Are you jealous? Are you unhappy because of my generosity?" Matthew is using the farmer as an icon, as an example of our God. God is simply generous. He is a giver and enormously generous to each of us. Not only could each one of us make a list of the gifts we have received, we could also make a list of those persons who have been good to us: parents, spouses, children, friends, benefactors, and of course, God. Some of those people perhaps we have never met or never known, but we shouldn't forget them. We shouldn't take them for granted. We should thank them from the bottom of our hearts. The virtue of gratitude really urges us to express thanks and then to do something in return. The giver or the donor does not expect some kind of quid pro quo. Rather, he or she has acted out of pure generosity. He or she has transcended their own self, gone beyond egoism, and bestowed a favor on someone else. In doing that, they have become other-centered, benevolent, considerate, self-sacrificing. To them, a grateful person opens their heart in thanks and appreciation. That should not become simply a secret, but it should be somehow publicly expressed. A grateful person has no difficulty at all in admitting a kind of dependence, a kind of debt of honor to another. And in turn, we do the best we can to return the favor. Being thankful or grateful moves a woman or a man to an expansiveness and graciousness. It moves us to imitate the goodness of the gift giver. Do they know that I am thankful? Do they know that I appreciate what they have done? Have I thanked them? Have I thanked God? Am I grateful enough? When we think about it, all of life can be a continuous exchange of gifts. And giving thanks is really essential to keeping the world going.